Welcome to The Explainer. When you hear the term AI, you probably think of incredibly complex code, right? But what if I told you that modern AI learns a lot more like a toddler than a supercomputer? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how AI learns from data, without a single line of code telling it how. You know that feeling when Netflix just gets you? It serves up the exact movie you didn't even know you wanted to watch. Or how Spotify drops that perfect song into your playlist right when you need it. How does it do that? Well, it's not magic, but it is a really powerful learning process, and that's exactly what we're going to break down. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the so-called magic trick behind it all. Then we'll see how AI learns by example. We'll walk through its training, put it to the test, and see why making mistakes is actually a good thing. And finally, we'll connect the dots to see how this all works in the real world. Let's dive in. All right, first up, the AI magic trick. So seriously, what is the secret sauce here? How can a machine seem to understand what we want without some programmer having to write a billion if this, then that rules for every single possibility? Well, here it is, the big secret. It's not magic at all. It's learning. See, AI doesn't follow a rigid script like a traditional computer program. Nope. It learns, it adapts, and it makes its own connections. Kinda like we do. And that right there, that's a total game changer. Okay, so if it's all about learning by example, what does that actually look like? To really get our heads around this, let's use a super simple analogy, one you're probably already familiar with, teaching a little kid to recognize different animals. And what's wild is just how similar the process is, right? You don't hand a toddler a textbook on cat identification. You just show them pictures, point out cats on the street, and when they inevitably point at a squirrel and yell, "Kitty!" you gently correct them. Well, AI learns in pretty much the same fundamental way. It sees patterns, it learns from examples, and it adjusts when it gets things wrong. And this whole idea has a name you've definitely heard before, machine learning. It's exactly what it sounds like, a machine that learns. Instead of programmers writing out every single rule, we just feed the machine a mountain of data and let it figure out the patterns for itself. Okay, so now we have our digital toddler. It's time to send it to school. And for an AI, school starts with the training process. You can basically think of it as the world's biggest game of show and tell. We start by feeding the AI what's called training data. Just imagine an endless stack of digital flashcards. Each card has an example and the correct answer. So you have a picture of a cat, and it's clearly labeled cat. A picture of a dog, labeled dog. Simple as that. But we're not talking about a few dozen of these. We're talking millions or even billions. And the AI just churns through all of them. It looks at all the cat pictures, then all the dog pictures, and it slowly starts to connect the dots. It might notice, a lot of these images labeled cat have pointy ears and whiskers, while the dog images often have floppy ears. And here's the amazing part. Nobody told it to look for ears or whiskers. It figures out those important patterns all by itself. So after all that studying, we get to the moment of truth. Did any of it actually sink in? Can our AI take what it learned and apply it to something completely new? It's time for the final exam. So how do we find out? We need to know if it has actually learned the concept or if it just, memorized all the answers on the flashcards. We have to test it. And the way we do that is by giving it a brand new set of data, stuff it has never ever seen before. This is called testing data. And the crucial difference? No labels, no answers in the back of the book. This is the pop quiz. So we show it a new picture, one that wasn't in the original study guide, of, say, a dog. And we just ask it, okay, what's this? Based on all the patterns it learned before, it has to make a guess. But here's the really cool part. Just like our toddler, the AI is not going to get it right every single time. And that's okay. In fact, getting things wrong isn't a bug in the system. It's literally the most important feature. So what happens when it messes up? Does an alarm go off? Do we scrap the whole thing and start over? Not at all. This is where the learning really accelerates. Let's say we show it that new picture of the dog, and based on what it's learned, it comes back with the guess, cat? Whoops, it's wrong. This kicks off a powerful feedback loop. The AI says cat. This system knows the correct answer is dog, so it provides that correction. Internally, the AI basically goes, oh, okay, my mistake. That combination of features is more likely a dog. I'll tweak my internal rules. Now, just imagine that cycle. Guess, check, adjust, happening millions, even billions of times. Every single mistake is a tiny lesson that makes it a little bit smarter. So that simple loop, that's the engine that drives everything. Now let's connect this all back to the real world and see how this basic idea powers the incredible AI we use every single day. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we're talking about recognizing animals, recommending movies, or translating languages, the core principle is exactly the same. It's always about finding patterns in massive amounts of data. And this is where the scale just becomes mind-blowing. Our little cat and dog AI was learning just a few simple patterns, but a large modern AI model, it has something like 175 times billion of these things called parameters. You can think of each one as a tiny little adjustment knob. Every time it learns, it's not just turning one or two knobs, it's fine-tuning billions of them all at once to get just a little bit closer to the right answer. So, what's the bottom line here? The big takeaway is that modern AI isn't really about writing some genius-level code. It's about a clever process. It learns from examples, it finds patterns that no human could ever see, and it actually uses its mistakes to get smarter. Its real power comes from doing that simple thing on a scale that is almost impossible to wrap your head around. And that leaves us with one last really big thought. If these AI systems learn from the data we give them, that means they're learning from us, from all the text we write online, the images we post, the choices we make. In a way, AI is becoming a giant mirror, reflecting back everything our society is, good and bad. So the really important question we have to ask ourselves is, what exactly are we teaching it?